Hi everybody, good evening. It is evening time. It is here in Pennsylvania, shockingly cold. You must excuse me, I just have an old t-shirt on. But I was just finishing up a project that Jen and I sort of had started. It's so cold outside. Jen was supposed to come this evening, but we had a snow squall, several of them today. I was sewing here in like 10 minutes of zero snow, and then it's blizzard, whiteout conditions. Shocking. It is so very cold. I don't need an excuse to come in my sewing room and sew. But what we're doing here, if you can see, let me just explain it quickly. Oh, somebody said I talk so fast, and I'm going to try to slow down, because I was watching myself on video back and I'm thinking, oh man, Jean, you talk really fast. And when my friend from Italy was here, she's like, I can't understand you. You talk so fast. I'm thinking, wow, you talk so fast in Italian. I can't understand you even if you talk slow. We were having a laugh. I'm going to try to slow down. So what we're doing, Jen and I, in our local congregation, we are getting, as of Sunday, some new people who are coming to be in our Kingdom Hall, in our congregation. And what we're doing on Friday evening, we are going to be making a, you might see this afterwards, but we're going to be making little goodie bags to welcome them into our new hall. It'll be really nice to have some new faces. It's going to be lovely. So there are 45 people planning on coming into our congregation, which is awesome, fantastic. So we wanted to welcome them. So some of them, our people are putting together little gift bags, little goodie bags, just little things. We're making signs to welcome them, to make them feel at home in our congregation. So what Jen and I thought we would do is, I had the idea, why don't we make little tissue holders? I don't know where I got this idea. I'm sure it's not my idea. I'm not clever like that. But but I had made one. Where did I make one? I made one. Oh, I made this one years and years ago. Seriously, years ago. And I did a really good job on this one. I lined it and everything. And Jen's like, are we gonna line it? I'm like, no. It's just a sweet little thing. Little scraps. Oh, that one Jen fussy cut to make it so it's real pretty. Just scraps. Seriously, to make one of these little tissue holders, it's a piece of fabric there, a piece of binding, and a strip of fabric, 2-inch strip. And I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to make these sweet little tissue holders. They all, this is what I wanted to show you. This is, we're in America here, as you know. I'm using Kleenex individual packs. And Jen said, well, why don't we just put the plastic in the holder? And I'm like, well, that sort of defeats the purpose of the holder, I think. So very carefully, we opened these up very carefully with lovely clean hands. And we just took not quite the whole package, actually. That's another thing. We took about 3/4 of it and just made our little holders, because these, as you can see, are the same size, if not a bit smaller than the actual pack of tissues. So it's more of a little compact thing that you can, and the way I'll show you how I make them, I'll put the phone, you can, or the camera down, you can just pull out a tissue on the fold. So Jen has taken about, I haven't even counted these, I just started cutting. Jen has taken about 20, maybe 17 or 20. The other day I was showing her how to make them. And it was very nice because Jen's daughter, Emma, who's 10 or 11, and our granddaughter Sophia, who you've met before, they came to my fat quarter unit here and all my scraps, and they chose like all the fabrics. They pulled all of the fabrics. They were up on a ladder, and they're like, oh, that would be pretty. This is a pizza. This is a pizza fabric I've had forever. And so we fussy cut it with the mushrooms, the cheese, the black. And I've had forever. I went shopping in my room. I've had the double fold bias binding, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to attach that. And this was sort of a general thing. We were trying to figure out the size. A couple of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. This one's a little bit bigger. This was one of our ones maybe that would be a little bit of a better size, but they're all sort of ending up this size, which is lovely. Really, really nice. So everybody has in their goodie bag a tissue holder. So anyway, I'm going to that's what this little tutorial is all about. I go from making a massive quilt that takes me a month to making a tissue holder. But I thought these would, oh, there's my computer. These would make a really nice little present for teachers, and you can make them en masse. I mean, I'll show you how I'm going to chain piece, and how I'll bring my camera down, and how I cut them out, and how I have everything ready to go. I'm using white thread. There's a black one with black binding, but I use white thread. There's cream with white thread. I'm not about to go changing the thread up. They're just a little token of our welcome to our new guests in our Kingdom Hall. It's going to be really very, very nice on Sunday. Everybody's coming. So, and on Friday night we're going to go to our hall, and we're going to make signs, and everybody's going to put the goodie bags together. So I'm going to show you how I make no pattern, but I'll show you what I cut here, and how I put the actual Kleenex in the little tissue holder. All right, I'll put my camera down. So what I have done here, let me see if I can figure this out. Jen and I had come along. We've cut all of our bits and sort of just placed them on top of each other. For one tissue holder, it takes three items, 3 pieces. And this, what we've done is I've cut approximately about a 10.5 piece of double fold bias binding. Double fold bias binding. And I don't know, I'll explain that in a minute. So I've got a 10.5 piece of bias binding, and this is a 2-inch. This is a 2-inch strip by about 10.5 or 11 inches. It's a little bit big. We cut them off. We cut them, but about say 10.5 inches. 2 inches by 10.5 inches. And then a square of fabric that is about 5 inches by about not quite 4 inches. Not quite. And you'll see how I do this. So that's it. So these are the 3 things we need. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll put that over there. I'm going to put this in front of me. Now, I don't know if you people realize or know this, and I'm sure you do. When you're working with bias binding, and it comes off that cardboard, I don't know if you realize there's a front and a back to the bias binding. If you notice that one side of your binding is about a 16th or a 32nd of an inch smaller, not as wide as the back. There's a front, and a back. That way, when you open it up with the back towards the back, in this application, we're putting our 2-inch strip right along the fold, and we're just putting this front right over, just enclosing our strip right to the fold, and folding that front bit over. That way, when I go to sew right along the side of this white binding, right on the edge, as you can see, my piece is bigger. So I'll just cut that just loosely. When I go to sew, there's the front. I turn it around, and I'm assured that the back of my binding is caught. Now, if you did it the other way, and you sewed it here, along this edge, you're not going to catch that side. So just a little hint. I'm sure you guys knew that already. Now, so I'm going to put that down. Now I'm just going to show you, if you're doing this for a project, perhaps you're going to find your fold. This is black, so this is my back side. This is my front. I'm going to just tuck that right in the top of my piece, my 2-inch piece. Again, I'm using white thread. That's fine. Just tuck that right in. And as you can see, I cut my pieces a little bit long. So maybe like, I don't know, how long would that be? So I cut them like 11 and a half. It's like 10 and a half. So, so I did that again. But I'll show you, so I'll just put that down there. Now I'll show you how I just put this to the side. And as you can see, I got all sorts of color of the binding. And we really did with the little girls, we really did try to make a morning of it. They had so much fun choosing my colored bindings and putting them together with the scraps. And they were allowed to cut carefully. And it was a real sweet little project. So if you have, you know, maybe for a babysitter or a grandmom or a like I say, a teacher, it would be a nice little way to get together with, the right sides. So I'm just enclosing this, and as you can see, I'm just going to chain piece them. So I won't bore you with my chain piecing, but that's how I would do it. Just enclose that. And I know that those stitches on the back are absolutely enclosed. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my first one, say. Now I'm going to fold this in half. And just very, the edges, you don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to cut it in half. There you go. So now, with the right sides, of course, pretty sides, and to pretty side, what you're going to do, it's going to be a bit bigger, but we're going to trim it up. You're going to place, and this is slightly big, so if you place it with the pretty side and the binding side down, that's the look we want, okay? This is what we want. We're going to overlap these two pieces. So with the binding to the middle, pretty sides together, the other piece with the binding to the middle, overlapping that other piece of binding. They're not perfect. Sort of, not like perfectly overlapping, just like a hair. Like if it's a hair out. Now, if you, by all means, if you need to pin them, by all means pin them. But I didn't find it as necessary, and Jen didn't find it necessary. I'm just holding everything. But when I get to this point here, to these bound edges, I am going to backstitch, backstitch, backstitch. You know me reinforcing, but my whole thought is when you're pushing the tissues in, there's going to be strain on that there, because it is a tidy little, a neat little tidy package. So you can open up to get your tissues, but when you go to put your tissues in, which I will show you, you're putting a little bit of strain there. So I will show you. I actually go around here twice, and on this seam here, to enclose the binding, I go several times. Now I'm coming up to that, and with my back stitch, I do it about 4 times. I just come maybe quarter of an inch. Yeah, quarter of an inch, something like that. Just sort of hold it there, scratch that, and then again, you can hear it go through that binding, back and forth, back and forth. My good old Juki. Needle down, twist it. Now, I come to my stitches that I've already done, and I'm going to go over it again. Just going to go over it, just to make it a sturdy little, you don't want them falling apart. It's just a token, but you don't want them falling apart the first time they go to put tissues in it. And then right off. Now, when we were making sort of our prototypes, I was telling Jen, I will cut these little edges here. I was telling Jen to cut these corners, to cut the corners off, but as you usually do, to reduce the bulk. But I thought, I'm not going to do that. Where's my chopstick? Oh, here we go. I have a chopstick. I'm not going to do that. I wasn't going to do that. I'm just going to turn this inside out, because I think now I want the most fabric I can get. And it makes the point anyway. It makes the point. I got to slow down, right? Oh, geez. Slow down, Jean. So I'm just pushing these little corners out. They're not pointy, but they're absolutely fine. Now I take my chopstick, and I find, or you have a stiletto or whatever you use. I like a wooden chopstick. I find if you twist it into a corner, just twist it slightly, instead of like poking it, which sometimes you can poke right through the fabric, just twist it. Just twist it into the corner to get the most of that point out. And again, because we didn't cut off the point, it's not going to be razor sharp point, which that's not the point. We don't need to. And there, you might want to just hit it. You might just want to hit it with a little bit of iron, but that's our little holder. Look how sweet it is, right? So now what we were doing is I was showing Jen, my hands are nice and clean. So what we're doing is I'm just opening up this pack, and I don't know how many tissues are in here, but I'm going to just throw that down there. You see how it has a fold there. It has a fold. I'm only taking about 3/4 of that lot there. And then I'm looking at this corner here. And with the you know, sort of the fold, I'm sort of aiming this lot of tissues to keep a nice tidy bundle right up into that corner. Because it is a snug fit. You can make it bigger, by all means, but I just thought the whole point is to have, and then just ease this, the whole lot. Make sure you don't do like one at a time, or you're just going to have a mess. You want to keep your tissues nice and neat, and then you're just going to pull out this. I mean, this is like, you guys aren't dumb. You know, you just there you go. You just sort of smooth them along. The whole point, there you go, is to make just a sweet little, nice, tidy, lovely, decorative, practical little tissue holder. There you go. So that's my little thing. I have like 20 down and like a million to go here. So now this was nice because I believe my packs of 8 were about $2.28 at Walmart. So I can for just a few dollars, really, I can get like 10 or 11 of these filled with one pack of 8, because I didn't, as you see, I'll use 2 packs for 3 holders. So there you go. You can just chain piece these along as you go. I have them right there. Chain piece them along. Again, I just sort of fold that in half. Take my scissors. By all means, if you want to cut them, really, really beautifully and where's that piece of fabric? Oh, where did it go? Oh, here we go. If you want to cut them to fit. Now this one, this is the side. Yeah, this is like a batik. See, that's a little bit bigger. Just you want the things in the middle, so it's pretty. Like this doesn't show, but this is the right side to the right side, and then you just stitch along. Just reinforce it, and go over it, and then you have a nice little tissue holder. So there you go. That's our little thing. Jen and I will be going on Friday and welcoming our new friends on Sunday. So I hope you enjoyed this, folks. See ya. Bye.